Sahana vavatu Sahanau bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta jana kalyane niratam karunamayam namami chinmayam devam sadgurum brahmavitvaram. Vakratunda mahakaya suryakoti samaprabha nirvignam kuru me deva sarvakaryeshu sarvada. Saraswati namastubhyam varade kamarupini vidyarambham karishyami siddhir bhavatu me sada. Yadevisarvabhuteshu buddhirupena samsthita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. Hari Om. And a very, very happy Navaratri to all those who have joined us today. Navaratri is a very, very special celebration. It is not just about festivity, it is mainly a journey of a seeker itself. You will say, how is this? Aren't we worshipping the goddess in her various forms? Then how come this is a journey for the seeker? So Navaratri is not just, as we said, just colors and festivals and, the festivity and just the garba, ras, etc. No, it is not just that. There is much more depth in its celebration, right? So it is, just as the moon waxes and wanes through the 9 nights, so too a seeker goes from their journey from darkness to light. And that is what is the significance of this beautiful festival, right? Where the word Nava and Ratri, what does it mean? Nava of course means 9, right? 9, and Ratri over there not just means the darkness of ignorance. Ratri over there also means Rati iti Rati. Iti Ratri. So Rati, what does that mean? That which protects, that which shields, that which protects a seeker, a sadhaka. That is this Navaratri, right? The 9 nights become the 9 shields of protection for the sadhaka through the journey from ignorance to wisdom. So how does this happen? And how does, the Shakti actually rise? And where is this Shakti going to rise? Is it in the goddess alone? Is it only, through the story of Durga to Lakshmi to Saraswati? Or is it in a seeker's heart? This is what we will just explore through this short satsang that we are having today. So when we say, as we said, this Ratri, 9 nights, if we are able to do tapas, if we are able to do sadhana with great, great consistency and focus, then it will become a evolutionary progress for each of us sadhakas. And there is where our sincerity in practice, our wholeheartedness in our bhakti is going to play a major role. And there is where even the Ichha Shakti or the will to do this, to bring this about, is essential. So how do we do this? As Puja Gurudev says, Puja Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananji, he says that Shakti is not only outer force to be worshipped, but the supreme energy within waiting to be invoked through what? Through earnest effort. Through earnest effort and devotion alone a seeker can make this journey. So during these 9 nights, of course, most people in the cities, and most people nowadays, of course, with the phone network going everywhere, people will, normally be messaging, today is so and so color, today is so and so day, and the Devi will be wearing this color, so everyone should wear the similar color. Yes, it is not just about, bringing that festivity into our hearts, but it is also about the sincerity and discipline that we have to invoke within. So how do we do this? There are, of course, the 9 forms of Devi, the 9 manifestations of Devi that we see through this 9 nights, right? And it begins with Shailputri, then goes on to Brahmacharini, then goes on to Chandraghanta, Katyayani. So there is also, right, in between, after Chandraghanta there is Kushmanda, then it comes to, Katyayanani, and then finally it culminates with Siddhidatri. These 9 forms of the Devi, each form is symbolic of, or mirrors the qualities that a seeker wants to awaken within. So what does that mean? Am I not invoking the Devi? Am I not offering, through various rituals that we perform, aren't we making offerings to the Devi? Where is this invocation part of it coming? So when we say invoking, the invocation is not just the chanting of prayers or chant or glorifying the various glories of Devi through Katha, through Parayana. It is also understanding what we are invoking through each of the Shaktis that we are praying to. So if we see in Shailputri, what is the virtue that one would see in this young, beautiful maiden, the daughter of the Himalayas? In her, we see the steadiness and composure, and more of the sense of wonder in the very creation that is this world, right? That is this universe. And therein also comes the strong foundation of sadhana. So what are we invoking through Shailputri? We are invoking the steadiness and composure that is essential for a seeker to be consistent in our practice. And then further, through Brahmacharini, what are we invoking? Through the Brahmacharini, the one who is Brahmani acharate iti Brahmacharini. One who, it is not just when we say Brahmachari, what does it mean? Normally people will say, it talks of celibacy. No, it is not just talking of celibacy. When we say the virtue of or the quality of being a Brahmachari, what it means is being disciplined in my approach to whatever practices, whatever sadhanas that I have taken up. So when we say this, what all is entailed? It also means that, whatever I am doing in my life, may I practice moderation. May I practice only that which is essential for my growth in sadhana. So of course you will say that, but there are very many very many things that I want to enjoy in life. There are so many, avenues waiting to be explored. So are you telling that I should just be very controlled and not go and venture forth in life and enjoy all that is there for me? No, it is not that we are saying that we should not enjoy our life, that we should not discover the various wonders of life. No, that is not what is told over here. What is said is, through the practice of moderation, through the practice of certain discipline in our life, we should decide what is essential, how much is essential, and whether actually it is important that we do each and everything, or choose a certain few and revel in that itself. As we said, what is it? Being in the moment is more important than just, taking selfies of that moment. Then what happens? When we keep taking the selfies, then somewhere we are not really enjoying that journey. So to enjoy the journey, one must be present in that journey also. Right? And for that, what is essential? Trying to be, as Gurudev would say, keep your mind where your hands are. So being present in all those moments of life is what we will be able to practice when we bring in moderation. What is said to be, uparati in our, or shama, as we say, in the discipline that we have to follow as a sadhaka. So shama is what? Shama is having that control over our mind, and through the mind control over our senses. How much is essential? We decide and then go ahead and enjoy that comes our way. Right? So that is one thing that we learn from the Brahmacharini. Brahmacharini, what does she do? She reveals that calmness and bliss comes of what? Comes of discipline itself. Then from Chandraghanta, what are we going to learn? Chandraghanta, the form of goddess, where she is ready in all her glory to wed Shiva. That auspiciousness, that divinity, which we all seek, but we keep distant from ourselves. Why? Because we are so taken in by the plurality or the various glamours of the world. So therefore, what do? In going after all these, so to say, glamours of the world, we forget that the true divinity, the true happiness lies within. So Chandraghanta reminds us of the alertness and harmony, which is very much in our hands. When we are alert, when we are able to see goodness in everything, when we are able to appreciate the world, then we are able to also practice that alertness and harmony at various levels, and especially so when it comes to our relationships, because that is one frontier that each of us, somewhere or the other falters. We try to give our best in our work. We try to give our best when it comes to our work even, but sometimes when it comes to relationships, we don't know, where we are falling short. We are saying that, I'm not able to have a balance in my life. Work is going fine, but when it comes to my relationships, somewhere things are not working fine. So what is essential in relationships also is being alert, not just for the needs of the world, but the needs of my dear ones, near and dear ones, and also the needs of this person who is right here within. So when we are able to examine, when we are able to observe ourselves, when we are able to improve our relationship with ourselves, then we will be able to mirror the same outside of ourselves also. Right? So Chandraghanta is one who reminds us of that. Then there is Kalaratri. Kalaratri, the terrific one. The one, whom everyone, or the Rakshasas, the greatest of demons, they're as though shivering when they even hear her approaching. So she is the one who is actually signifying what is she symbolically telling us? That the fear that you have, you keep it at bay by invoking that fierce determination to overcome all kinds of negativities. And yes, the asuras, the demons are not somewhere outside of us, they are right here within. And so is the Shakti, the power of who? The power of this Kalaratri to keep these fears at bay. And how can we do that? Through fierce determination. Why should we try to overcome all these kinds of negativities that are within? Because they are the ones which are keeping us from adapting to, or rather owning up our own divinity. So that divinity which is truly us. What is that divinity? That very Sat Chit Ananda that I am. That Sat which says that I ever am. I ever am. I ever am that eternal self. When we say that we are that eternal self, what do we mean? We mean that I am that which always is. That never was not, that never will not be. There is no birth and death to me. I am that Nitya. I am that existence. I am that consciousness. That consciousness which is what? Which is that which illumines everything. That makes possible this world of names and forms. That manifests as the glory of this Devi. When we say that there is all creativity within, just as what is, signified by that Kushmanda. Kushmanda, the one who is carrying in her womb. In her womb, this Mata. What is she carrying? She is carrying that infinite possibility of being in that divine in every way possible. You take music, you take art, you take creativity in terms of even, making something new. Innovation in terms of technology even. All this is possible when one is able to embrace the quietude, the silence, and in that silence meditate on that creativity which lies dormant within. And this Shakti, this infinitude of all possibilities, of all ideas is lying right here within. Now Gurudev gives this example of how we should see this unmanifest potential in everything and how we can invoke it. So he says that if you look at which is also example given in our Shastra. So it is said that if you look at wood, what does it mean? That wood in it, what is that which is unmanifest potential in that piece of wood? You will say wood is just a piece of wood, right? It's like here right in front of me there is a table, then there is a chair made of wood. What would you say is the potential in that? So actually in that wood is what lies dormant is the fire. The energy which is of the form of fire is lying dormant in that wood. So if you need to generate some energy, or you need to have some fuel, where is it going to come? It is going to come from the wood. So all around us is this potential in some form or the other. All we have to do is not just be aware of that potential, but also know how to awaken it within of us, right? And for that alone is this invocation, is this spirit of prayer that we use. So when we are in this Navratri, what do we have to do on the 9 nights? On the 9 nights, we should be able to invoke the Shakti in the manifestation which is being portrayed through the 9 forms of the Devi. So for that, I should know what it is that I want to invoke for me. So when we say that there are, now you would ask that there are 9 forms of Devi. Does it mean, or if you would say that the Devi is Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, that is how it is, right? On first 3 nights we worship Durga Devi. On the next 3 nights it is Lakshmi. On the next 3 nights comes Saraswati. So when we say on 3 nights there are 3 different forms, what does that mean? So on the first 3 nights when we are invoking that Durga Ma, that Kali Ma, what is it that we are invoking? Even though she looks very powerful and terrible, she in fact is the one who is the destroyer of the demons. So if you read even the Devi Mahatmyam, the Shumba, Nishumba, all the Chanda Munda, she is the one who is destroying them. But actually for a seeker, what does this mean? For a sadhaka, what does it mean? It means that we are invoking that Kali Ma to kill away or to destroy the negativities within ourselves, which are keeping us from being consistent, which are keeping us from doing our sadhana to invoke that very divine within us. So when we are saying these negativities, what are these negativities? So the negative tendencies that we carry within us, that of kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, that is, there is, the various desires that we have, the various, which lay unfulfilled. If they are fulfilled, sometimes they will invoke some kind of anger also, some kind of jealousy also, greed also, envy also, and so to bring in a lot of attachment. Attachment to what? Attachment to the seeming pleasures of the world, the seeming objects which seem to have some sense of pleasure for us. But is that pleasure that which is permanent, is what we have to question. Is it that which is going to truly bring fulfillment for me? Is it that which is giving me contentment? Is something that I have to question. If something is giving me happiness, how long is that happiness lasting? Is it really happiness or sorrow in disguise? So when we see this, and when we question the seeming happiness in the worldly experiences, then we realize that happiness is something that I have projected in that object. That object which might give me a momentary glimpse of happiness need not be happiness for another person. So if the happiness is not in that object, where is that happiness? Then we have to realize, when we inquire, only then we realize that that happiness is right here within. But what are we trying to do? We are trying to invoke that happiness in something outside of us. And when we are saying outside of us, when we are talking of the world, then what are we doing? We are saying that I am limited and I think the world is the source of joy for me. But am I really limited? Is something that I have to inquire into. Am I that which is very finite, which is very limited in terms of time, in terms of space, time, because I have birth and death. In terms of space, because I have a certain form to me. I call myself a woman. I have a certain height, weight, etc. So when we see ourselves as this body, then we have limitations to ourselves. But as the scriptures declare, as the Smriti, the Shruti, the Upanishads, the Vedas, Smriti, the Bhagavad Gita, then the Nyaya Prasthana. What is the Nyaya Prasthana? The Brahma Sutras. What are they saying? They are telling us very clearly that we are not this limited, conditioned self, but we are that which is that infinite, that Sat Chit Ananda, that existence, consciousness, bliss. That is who we are. There is no we, there is only one. That Advaita Brahma is this Atma, and that itself is manifesting as everything in this world. So when we say that there is infinite potential in whom? In that Shakti, right? That Shakti is very much present in you and me. Just as in that wood there is the power of fire, just imagine in all of us lies that unmanifest potential, that is that Jnana Shakti, the knowledge of power, the power of knowledge, Ichha Shakti, the power of will, and Kriya Shakti, the power of action, determined action. So when we are invoking this Devi, that Shakti, whom are we invoking? We are invoking that unmanifest potential of Jnana, then Ichha and Shakti within ourselves. Right? So what are we invoking? We have to remember this, okay? Jnana Shakti, that is the power of knowledge. Ichha Shakti, the power of will. And Kriya Shakti, the power to implement that which we have put into thought through a vision born of wisdom. That is important. What we want to visualize in ourselves should come from wisdom. And for that, what is essential? For that, it is essential that we do enough of sadhana, do practice enough of discipline in our lives to be able to concentrate or focus our mind fully to invoke that divine within us. First first 3 nights, that's why what are we doing? By invoking Kali Ma, we are invoking her power to get rid within us all those negativities, all that which is tamo guna. Tamo guna, that which is making us lazy, that which is causing us to forget that very immense power which lies within us, that which is making us procrastinate. Say that, okay, why should I, put in so much of attention or so much of effort to discipline myself, to do so much of sadhana, to see the divine in everything? Can't I just go about, the world is going on, I will also go on, enjoying the changing, and through the changing, invoking what? The changeless. Is it possible? No. So, if I am trying to find happiness in the changing, then that happiness is going to be limited alone. But if I am invoking that infinite happiness, which is me, which is my essence, then for that, what do I have to do? I do have to bring in that sadhana, that tapas, which is essential. And that is what these 9 nights are signifying for us, right? So, how do we invoke the Kali? So, we invoke her not just, by chanting the mantras, by, singing the glories of Mata, but also by determined self-effort that I want this change to happen within. I want to wake up early. I want to make sure that I do enough of study, swadhyaya. So, sadhana, for sadhana, what is important also? For becoming single pointed, to do, what should I do? I should do upasana of Devi. Upasana, when we say, what are we doing? We are bringing in that single pointedness in our concentration. That mind which is right now scattered in various directions, I want to bring it in one place. I want to make sure that it is following one train of thought. So that what? So that when I sit down in meditation, I don't get lost. I don't become restless. But I focus on that divine grace that I wish to invoke within. So, upasana is not just worship, it is that worship which through purity is also going to bring single pointed focus, that is chitta ekagrata, into my discipline, which will help me go miles ahead towards my evolution. So, what is essential? One is purity of mind. Purity of mind will come how? Or what we say is chitta shuddhi. How will it come about? When I am able to get rid of all the negativities that I maintain within me. And you will say that how do I know that I am, being negative in my life? So the moment you make a resolve, how many of us are able to sustain that resolve and take it forward for, say suppose you say that every day for the next 21 days I am going to wake up at, say suppose 4 a.m. is too early for you, fine. If you say that I will wake up by 5 a.m. daily. So some of us will say yes, that can be achieved, and we even put on the alarm. And then because we think we will not be able to do it, we will put 5 other alarms also, right? And does it happen then? For some it happens, for some it doesn't happen. Then too what should we do? Then too we should strictly keep up to that resolve. Every day still try to be there at 5 am. Not that we should try to, but we should be there. So when we are sleeping, when we are winding up for the day itself, we should be able to put that resolve into our mind that tomorrow I am going to wake up at this time. Then we are consistent. Then we are not procrastinating. So what is one negativity which comes? That which puts a no as the first thought which comes when some opportunity arises for me. So that voice within me which I say, which tells me no. I will keep aside this no and I will still go forward with my resolve to go ahead. Right? Then that is that positivity which we are able to invoke within. So this Kalima is the one who is that inner voice which is going to fight away that negativity within me. So should we invoke her? Yes, we should. So the first 3 nights are with that resolve. The next 3 nights are dedicated to Mother Lakshmi. So normally, as Gurudev says, normally we associate Ma Lakshmi with the R's and P's. Now of course there is no P's, that is no paisa. Now it is more of rupees, right? So what do we associate Ma Lakshmi with? We associate Ma Lakshmi with financial growth. But actually what does she signify? She is that nidhi, that very storehouse, the very resource of love, kindness, courage, inner wealth. That which is, collectively symbolizing all goodness in life, all prosperity in life, is this Ma Lakshmi. She is not just money, but she is that which makes this growth in us possible. That which brings in abundance into our lives. She is that very essence which brings, that flavor in everything. Like when we are eating some food, and some special meal is being cooked up, and everyone is looking forward to it, and when you put the first morsel in, suddenly people will go, oh, what happened? There is no salt in the food, right? So when the salt is not there in that dish, what happens? You are not able to enjoy that flavor. You are not able to enjoy that which makes that dish what it is. Of course, when the dish is savory, we mean, right? So if the very essence is missing, then we will not be able to enjoy that. So too, this Lakshmi Ma, what does she indicate? What does she symbolize? She symbolizes the very essence of all abundance. So some might have wealth, but might not have, the stamina to enjoy that wealth. Who can bring in that essential goodness in everything is this Ma Lakshmi. And therefore she is also the one who doesn't very easily stay in anyone's home, right? You say that Lakshmi ji is very chapal. She moves from one place to other. But where does she reside very well and very comfortably for long? Is when Narayana is there. Right? When Narayana is there, when Bhagwan is there, you will see her, is she sitting at his head? No. She is sitting at his feet. So when Narayana is there, when that knowledge is there, when that wisdom is there to see and appreciate everything and to have a balance in everything, then Lakshmi Ma just comes about like this only. So Gurudev would always say, if you invoke Narayana, Lakshmi will be there. She will not be far behind, she'll be there, right? So too, what do we have to do? Now that, the first 3 nights we have got rid of all our negativities, all the tamasic gunas in us. What will come about? The essential, the aggressive goodness which is required. Not just rajas, Normally what is rajas? Any activity that we have to do, we require that rajasic power. The rajasic guna is essential to make ourselves go energetically into achieving something. But that rajas also requires some sattva. That sattva is alone going to keep that rajas balanced. Right? So what is that sattva? That sattva is this knowledge of using that wealth, using that resource for the essential benefit of all. Not just a selfish desire, but a sankalpa for the goodness of all. When I am able to bring in, then that sankalpa will become satya. Then it will benefit not just me, but it will bring about a overall goodness. And that is where the abundance, which is Lakshmi Ma, comes into our life. So only when we have that purity of mind, which comes about how? Through karma yoga. So what is karma yoga? I'm sure some of you all have been doing our courses and you all will know what is karma yoga. So karma yoga is not just bringing forth selfish action, but bringing in selfless action. So the same action, same duties that I perform as per my samsara dharma. So what are the samsara dharmas? What are the 4 phases of, acharana? So there is, the Brahmacharya, there is the Grahastha, there is the Vanaprastha, and there is the Sannyasa. So most of us who are here must be in Grahastha ashrama. So as per my samsara dharma, whatever is my duties towards, say, my family, towards my work, towards myself even, if I have to do them with the attitude of Ishwararpana Buddhi. What is Ishwararpana Buddhi? Where I have an altar of dedication, where I am able to offer all my actions as a form of worship alone. I don't have to sit in one seat and do, various archana, puja. No. But that very same thing that I do in a puja, that is through devotion, invoke the grace of Bhagwan. That very same attitude, if I have to employ in all my actions in life, all my duties towards life, then that becomes karma yoga. Where not only I offer all my actions to a higher altar, but whatever comes as a result of those actions, that too I tell Bhagwan that too is your prasada only. Even if it is good or even if it is bad, I will accept it as it comes. Why? Because Bhagwan knows best. It might not be as per my expectation, but I accept it because Bhagwan thinks this is right for me right now. Because he knows the overall picture. He is the director of the show. He knows what is best for me at this point of time. It doesn't mean, that I shouldn't be, I shouldn't express my anguish or anger, or, I shouldn't be happy or elated. No. All that I do, I offer it to Bhagwan. I say that, okay, if you think this is best for me, this is your grace, then may I accept it with not with an agitated mind, but with a mind which is calm in the acceptance of your will. If it is not going right, I will complain to you only. If it is happening well and good, then too I will bow down to you alone. Right? So this karma yoga is what will bring about that prosperity, that contentedness, that satisfaction in my life, which will bring about prasannata, which will bring about that effect of just being calm and happy in all the gain that I have, all that has come to me. So this is what is then will result in that culmination of the upasana, which comes in the wisdom of what? Of Ma Saraswati's invocation in the last 3 days. Right? So Ma Saraswati, she represents not just the knowledge, the worldly knowledge, but that adhyatmic vidya, or that knowledge which will get rid of all my grievances, all kinds of sorrows which I had held on to now, those have gone away in that wisdom, which signifies that purity of Ma Saraswati. She is that virtuous, absolute reality, and therefore she is in that Shweta Varna. She is in that, glorious white. And who is her Vahana? Her Vahana is that swan. That swan who is equipped with the Viveka Buddhi, the mind or that Buddhi which is, which is able to discriminate between not just between the right and wrong, but that which is Nitya, that is which is permanent, eternal, and that which is impermanent, anitya. So that which always accepts shreyas, that is this mind in that last 3 days, which has gained that wisdom. That which, no longer has any kind of lingering craving for the world of changes, but that which has always chosen the shreyas of Ma Saraswati. That purity, that eternality which is me alone, that eternity which is me alone has now become mine. So, when will a sadhaka become like this? When the sadhaka is able to adapt to the Navdha Bhakti, the devotion. So, the Navdha Bhakti, what are the 9 Navdha Bhaktis over here? Navvidha Bhakti, which has been elaborated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And when we say Srimad Bhagavatam, it is not just the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam. There is also in these 9 days, there are some places where you will also get to hear the Devi Bhagavatam. Like the Srimad Bhagavatam is, it is more, the pravachana is done, the parayan is done for 7 days, saptaha, right? But during Navaratri, you will have the Devi Bhagavatam parayana, which is done for 9 days. So, what are the 9 forms of bhakti which are being detailed over there? The devotion which is going to give us this, this beautiful blend of purity as well as focus. That is, the 9 forms of bhakti are Shravanam. Shravanam, not just listening, but listening with the intent of internalizing. Listening to Bhagwan's glories with a lot of love. Shravanam. Kirtanam, singing his name and sharing his leelas. Or here, if we are doing it on the 9 days, if we are chanting the Devi Mahatmyam, or if we are listening to her various stotras, There is the Sri Suktam, there is the Devi Suktam, right? Durga Suktam. There is also the Lalita Sahasranama. So when we do Kirtanam, Smaranam, remembering her constantly. Remembering Bhagavan constantly, like how one would a beloved. When someone is very dear to us, we will keep remembering that person. Even as we are enjoying something, we will always think, oh, I would like to share this with my beloved. Or if we are eating something good, then we would say that, oh, I wish I could share this with them. So here too, when we say Smaranam is serving, remembering that Lord constantly. Pada Sevanam, it is not just pressing the feet of the beloved or that Lord. It is Pada Sevanam here means having that attitude of service in all we do. Because whatever I do, I am offering in worship to that highest altar, to my Ishta. So Pada Sevanam, Archanam, worshipping with love and sincerity. So whatever I am offering, how will I offer it? With all purity, with Shuchi. So whatever I make as Naivedyam, what will I do in that Naivedyam? I will bring, use the choicest of ingredients and make it with a lot of love ingrained, right? So to my Archanam is that, right? Worship with love and sincerity. Then Vandanam, prostrating with gratitude and humility. When I bow down, and whom do I bow down to? Not just that Mata, but all her manifestations. In these days, we will also have different rituals to do this, right? We will, when it comes to offering some kind of dance, some kind of charity, when we give to the people also, like, there will be Kanya Danam done on these days. On the Ashtami day, they do Kanya Danam, they also do Sumangali Puja, like as if we will be having. Right? So what is done on with this Kanya Puja or this Sumangali Puja? So, in Kanya Puja, you will have, little girls from age 2 to 10, those who are pre-puberty, and they will be worshipped as you are worshipping Devi Ma herself. And whom are we worshipping? That unmanifest Devi. Her potential, her goodness is whom we are invoking, that divinity through these small girls, right? So when we do this puja also, what has to come about in the one who is worshipping, in the one who is offering that worship? There has to be greatest humility to bow down to that Ma. So Vandanam, Dasyam, seeing oneself as a very servant of that Bhagwan, and then doing whatever I am doing, right? Sakhyam, relating to Bhagwan as one would to a close friend. That Sakhyam is very important, and that we will see in the lives of very many Santa Mahatmas, how they had built a very beautiful, pure relationship with Bhagwan, that they could not just, surrender to that Bhagwan in a very helpless manner, but when it came to, even some small joys, they would just offer it to him. When it came to some complaint of the heart, they would just offer it to Bhagwan alone. So too, one should build about that relationship with Bhagwan as he is my very family, my very sakha, my very friend, very close to my heart. And then finally comes Atma Nivedanam, complete self-surrender at the feet of the Lord. So these Navvida Bhaktis, these 9 practices, when can we practice? When can we bring about in our daily sadhana, if during these 9 days of Navaratri, or rather the 9 nights of Navaratri, we are able to practice them actively, then we will see the effect of that coming about in the days to follow later also, all through the year. When will this happen? When we do it very consistently. When we bring in sincerity and consistency and persistently go towards our goal, then definitely this will come about. As Gurudev says, true sadhana is consistent, conscious application of oneself in pursuit of the divine. And until every thought and action becomes a worship, then only that goal of life will become ours. So, having seen this, what should we do? We should understand that these Navaratris are our opportunity to embrace that divine, to bring her into ourselves, to invoke that Shakti, to make myself that very living abode of that glory which is not somewhere far above, but right here within my core. And all I have to do is what? To invoke her grace. How do I do it? Through prayer, through sadhana. Through sadhana, which can be in the form of japa, in the form of kirtana, singing her glories, listening to her glories, in the form of satsanga, in the form of swadhyaya, studying texts. We have beautiful texts such as Devi Mahatmyam and others. And of course, being very true in our relationship with that divine. So bringing in that bhava in my heart is most important. The practices that I take up for that are going to be instrumental to bring about all these qualities of a sadhaka more strongly in force forward for me to attain that final goal. And only then will we be able to celebrate that Vijayadashmi very gloriously. So what do we have to do? We have to just invoke that Devi, keeping a sankalpa truly in my heart. So what do I do? Just every day, just for a few minutes after you have done your sadhana, quietly go on to remembering your sankalpa of invoking that Shakti which is the Jnana Shakti, that Shakti which is the Ichha Shakti, that Shakti which is the Kriya Shakti, which will make my goal a reality for me. Not just in terms of material prosperity that I want to have in my life, but more so that spiritual prosperity that I want to own up as myself. I hope this satsanga has, helped us to make few sadhanas, few goals for us very clear for ourselves, and let us invoke that goodness, that Shakti within ourselves. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Hari Om. Thank you.